So, in God we trust. That's what I want to talk about this morning. I want to say that, we've been talking all summer that creativity in Elizabeth Gilbert's world is about writing. And we talked on Wednesday night about the fact that creativity is just living. It's just living. And when you think about it, every choice you make is a moment of creativity. Think about it. You are constantly taking the energy and the stuff of this moment and creating the next moment with it. You choose your attitude, you choose your perspective, your preference, your reaction, your emotions, your word, your physical movement, your thoughts, and the raw materials around you. And out of those bits arises the next thing that you have created. You're constantly taking physical forms and using them to make something else, or rearranging them to make things look or feel something different than it was, right? It's created. And at the same time, you're using the laws of nature and spiritual law to work with you. Let me give you an example. Okay, so think about it. In this moment, let's say that you choose to recognize that you're hungry, and you choose to walk into your kitchen. You open your cabinet doors or your refrigerator where you previously chose to store your bits of food, right? And then you can choose the food bits you're going to use and create something to eat. And you use the laws of heat transference to warm the food, to cook it. You use the laws of digestion to transform the food bits into nutrients, to transform your moment of hunger into a moment of satisfaction, or at least less than hungry, right? Depends on what you grabbed, right? Now, you could have chosen to go to a restaurant instead and transform your money or your resources into bits of food too, into an eating experience. And both of those choices would be your creation for this experience of the hunger that you're having. You have choices. And depending on your consciousness or your level of awareness at that moment, you made loving choices or environmentally protective choices or self-destructive choices. You made financial choices, you made social choices, cultural choices, and on in greater subtlety. And all of this, we're just talking about 1 hour of your day to meet one of your needs, right? So I repeat, you are constantly creating, and you are creating from your level of consciousness, and you, quite frankly, are a magician in your life, both as a human being and as a spiritual being. And as we work with our deeper, like our soul level being, and we work with that being in charge, our choices become better and better, because that part of us driving the bus makes choices more in alignment with affirming life, more alignment with our highest self, more alignment with the universe around us. Because you are not the same person you were yesterday, period. Not on a physical, cellular level, an emotional level, a mental level. The creative process is actively working all the time in every single moment. And it is happening without your conscious awareness, whether you like it or not, and whether you participate actively and with intention or not. But what does stay the same? If everything's changing all the time, what does stay the same? Your soul stays the same, and its connection with the power of the universe. That's unchanging and universal and foundational to your existence. And the other thing that does not change are the laws that govern both the natural physical world and the energetic or the unseen world. And so today our subject is about trust. But what am I inviting you to trust? The trust I'm talking about today is about trusting the spiritual, energetic universe to be predictable and governed by love and law. We talk about those two words. Love meaning that that universe is always life-affirming, always. And law, meaning it's impersonal, and the laws work for everyone, and they work always. There is nothing in life that is not governed by love and law. And as we go about creating fearlessly, which is what we're trying to do with our soul magic, what we're actually doing is consciously and intentionally using the laws of the universe on our behalf. There really isn't nothing magic about it. It's not magic. Except that most of us are still learning how to use the laws and do all of this on a conscious basis. For example, you know, life has taught you that you can trust the natural law of gravity. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be in place as you move your body, right? Do you agree that gravity is always there, right? So if you want to create a magic trick on a bicycle or a skateboard or whatever, you develop a very personal relationship with that law. Your body and the law are in relationship, and you work with that law of gravity to magically fly from one trapeze to another, or whatever it is you're doing. The magic was found in trusting the law of gravity to work the same way every time, all the time. It's always going to be the same. And you became an expert at using that law. That's what you can trust. Likewise, you can develop a relationship and learn to trust the spiritual laws. What are they? The law of circulation, the law of cause and effect, the law of reciprocity and balance, the law of sacrifice. Those are just a few to name. They're always going to be in place. They're always going to work for you just as well as they work for Brittany. Brittany knows them. They work for her too, right? Anyone using them. When you choose to change your mind and move in a new direction in your life, the laws work with you and you can trust that. Basically, the invitation is to trust that the universe or God is life-affirming, meaning that it will always help you move toward a greater life expression for yourself and others. And if you choose and intend to create more life, that power is flooding behind you to help you. The universe will support your choices with powerful energy. And trust that the universe or God is governed by laws, and they will work for you as well as for anyone. Love and law. That is what I want you to trust. Gilbert points out in her trust chapter that most of us honestly believe that the living earth is indifferent to us, and that humans are nothing but passive consumers, and that our presence here is a destructive force, and that humans are here by accident, and that therefore the earth doesn't give a damn about us. That's the basic common belief, that we are using the earth. The basic human belief is that our purpose here is to conquer the natural world and consume what we can consume for our survival and piece together whatever kind of life we can manage. But when we live in that kind of a relationship with the universe, we're missing out on one of the most profound and beautiful truths that there is. And that is ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom has always taught us that we are in a reciprocal relationship with the universe that we live in, with the earth and the sky and the forces of nature. If we take care of the earth will take care of us. What we love loves us back. Shamanic traditions, the most basic spirituality of the shamanic people, emphasize the same concepts that we're learning this summer, which is everything is in relationship with everything else. There's a spiritual responsive universe, and we can trust that if we put out positive energy will return to us. We talked about that this morning in Sacred Cup. What we send out comes back to us. That sure sounds like the science of mind to me. Those are old shamanic teachings. So when we really look at the concept of trust, I believe that the trust we must develop here is the trust in ourselves and in our relationship with the whole picture that's going on. You know, I always say that the good news of this philosophy is that we control the quality of our lives and our experience. And if we want to change the quality of our life, we can do that using these principles. That sounds like good news, right? We can make our lives better. But you might be surprised to learn that that's actually the bad news for a whole lot of people, because they look around their life and realize, oh crap, there's no one to blame. There's no one to say it's not fate. It's not, I'm co-creating my life. and we have to take responsibility for our life and make it better. But here's the thing. It is your human, ego-driven self that has co-created any of the messes that you're in. Your need to please other people, your paralyzing fear of imperfection, your feelings of unworthiness, your survival mechanisms that just kind of keep you separate from others, your need to be right, your anxiety about lack of resources and love and support and acceptance and all the sorts of things that you are afraid you can't have. All of that stuff is attached to your human personality and your ego. And if you are actually identifying yourself by that, no wonder it's hard to trust. You can't trust that shifting sand of human ego. It's hard to trust yourself. You question, can I break my habits? Can I change my preferences? Can I move away from these safety mechanisms that I've been creating? Can you trust yourself to do all of that? Maybe not. But the good news is you can trust your soul. You can trust that core essence of yourself. That's your true, never-changing, ever-powerful, loving, wise, connected to God part of you. That's the peaceful, joyful core of who you are. Because your soul understands the shamanic wisdom, that it's attached to everything else, to all resources, to all peoples, to all creatures, to God itself. And it also understands it's connected to all the spiritual laws. But here's the deal. Unless you're cultivating a deep relationship with that part of yourself as a spiritual being, you probably only know your egoic self unless you're going within. And it's a big change for most people to trust their soul because it's hard to trust someone you barely know, right? You only had a glimpse of it. It's hard to know what it's about. You ever even had a lengthy conversation with it? It's hard to trust someone who's never revealed their true essence to you. So we develop our relationship with our spiritual self the same way we develop a relationship with a brand new neighbor that you moved in next door. How do you do that? You get to know your neighbor through interaction, through conversation, through tons of listening, through observing habits and patterns, maybe even exchanging a cup of sugar every now and then, right? Your soul keeps ringing your doorbell saying, hey, do you need some sugar? Can I borrow some of your time? It wants you to be living in joy and freedom and peace, and it wants to show you how. It wants to express itself through your life, your creativity, your relationships, your work, everything you're doing out there. It loves when you clear a way for it to be the leader of your life. You know, we've all had periods of time or circumstances or situations or whatever when we have let our souls lead. Think back to the moments when you felt deeply at peace, or when love was the only thing on your mind, or when time slipped away because you were so enwrapped doing one of the things that's like your favorite thing to do, when you're laughing so hard in just pure joy. Your soul is leading. I call those moments pearls. Pearls. And the most creative choice we can make in our lives is to allow our souls to string as many pearls every single day that we can. These pearl God moments are so precious, and they're always available if we choose to follow our souls into creating them. But you can trust your soul to lead you to pearl moments. Follow those little breadcrumbs in your life that lead to experiencing the qualities of God. Follow things that lead you to peace and joy and love and balance and connection, harmony. All of those God things, your soul is reaching for them all the time. Your soul doesn't care what you do. It doesn't care what you do inside your magic suit. It's just excited to be in your magic suit and be on this human plane. But it does care if it is allowed to express while you're doing whatever it is you're doing. Meaning, if you're hanging out with a friend, your soul cares what you're talking about. Are you gossiping or are you building up life and affirming others? If you're working, your soul cares if you're putting your best creative effort into work or if you're just begrudgingly showing up. If you're at home, your soul cares if you're loving yourself enough to create an environment that inspires you. Do you care enough to put the music on or to put the lights the way you like it or to be comfortable in your own skin? Your soul doesn't care about quantity. Your soul cares about quality. Your soul doesn't care if you come in first place. Your soul cares if you step on someone else trying to make it there. Your soul wants cooperation, not competition. And this summer is an opportunity for you to connect with your soul and allow it to take a greater lead in your life and lead you to change, lead you to creative choices. Because when you do connect with your soul as leader, the magic starts to happen. Your relationships do get sweeter. Your body gets more vibrant. Your creativity goes up. Your fear loses its grip on your choices. You laugh more. You connect with people and with nature. Magic happens. Magic happens. Sounds like transformation to me, but it takes trust. So right now we're on that downhill slide of big magic like we've been talking about, but the good part comes next. Magic of the Soul is this course. It's a 6-week class, and we're going to be purposefully creating a relationship with our soul, with our level of our soul. The readings, the activities, the meditations. I've taught the class before. It's magnificent. It's transformational. So it's time to trust our deeper selves. And I hope that you'll join us on that journey. And when we do, we're going to shift and we're going to change. So in closing, I found a poem by my favorite contemporary poet. You know, I share him a lot, John Riddell. And I just love it. And I wanted to share it. It speaks of the magic of life and the trust we can have in the heavenly process that we are all living. This is John Riddell. The only thing to say when somebody tells you that you've changed is, thank you. And maybe they have it wrong. Maybe I'm not changing at all. Maybe I'm just simply becoming the person who I was created to be. I'm always in a cocoon. Over the past couple of years, people have told me that they miss the old me, the funny me, the less serious version of me, the safe me, the less wandering version of me. I try to explain to them that lately my favorite places have become thresholds. I have about 4 new seasons a week, but I'm the same planet. I'm constantly unfolding like a blanket with no end. I'll try doing this, and then I'll try doing that, and then I'll try this on, and then I'll try a taste of that. I may write a poem today. I'll take some photos tomorrow, and maybe I'll tell some jokes on stage next week, and a decade from now, I'll be painting sunflowers. And each thing will be the most important thing I've ever done. I'm in perpetual state of transition. I keep living home as who I was and returning as who I need to be next. It's all such a skin-shedding adventure of fresh starts and unlimited resurrections. I don't want to be the exact same person that I was when you last saw me yesterday. Too much has happened since then. I've seen too much beauty. I've cried too many tears. I've sat with too many ghosts on park benches. I've put my toes in too many rivers. I've had my heart broken too many times. I've felt too many kisses. I've heard God singing to me from too many treetops to not be transformed. I once met an angel that was sunbathing in a garden who told me that heaven looked like a thunderhead draping itself over the Rocky Mountain Valley. Heaven is always billowing. Heaven is ever rolling. Heaven is constantly churning. Heaven is relentlessly changing forms. Heaven never looks the same from one day to the next. Heaven is constantly being reshaped by the hands of the great potter because it turns out that grace is a whirling spectrum of color, and heaven has to keep changing its form in order to keep up with it. Heaven transforms its camouflage of miracles and magic every morning, and if it's good enough for heaven, then it's good enough for me. There's so much creation taking place around us for us not to join in on the fun. So many new opportunities, so many new people, so many galaxies being formed, so much ancient beauty being rediscovered. With all of that going on, how can we have a new beginning every single time we breathe? I believe epiphanies aren't meant to randomly drip like a broken faucet. They're meant to flood like a creating river. When somebody accuses you of changing, take it as a compliment and wonder why they haven't. If a nebula can be given permission to change forms, so can you. Besides, maybe we aren't changing anyway. Maybe we are just becoming who we were born to be in the first place. Maybe we were born to keep unfolding like an endless map. And one last thing, my love, don't let any of your seasons become permanent. Let them all pass through you. Bloom red, change. Bloom green, change. Bloom rainbows. Embrace each one as the wonder that they are. You see, our souls are made of moving water with bits of sunlight in it. We are all glowing ripples passing through time, reflecting life off of water. Don't fret, my love. Heaven is called to reinvent itself daily. As are we, as are we, as are we. And I can't wait to see how beautiful you look the next time I see you radiating like cathedral stained glass under the glow of your raw, ever-changing authenticity. John Rodell. Will you join me in prayer? What I know in this moment is that this universe is a loving, inspiring, supportive universe. It responds to my thoughts, it responds to my choices, and it supports me every time I take a step towards life. I take a step towards love. It supports me, it wraps itself around me and inspires me to create new things, new beginnings, new relationships, new situations, and I reach for them with trust. Trust that I am ever supported. I know this for myself, and I know this for each person hearing this prayer today. God is, and I am, and life is good always. May it ever be so. And so it is.
So it is.